For first-time COP attendees Brooke Thompson and Emma Loazo, this year's climate change conference was an eye-opening event.
For me personally, it's been amazing. I have always wanted to have the opportunity to be here.
Thompson, a PhD student from California, came representing the Yurok tribe, an indigenous people who live along climate-affected rivers and coastlines.
And so because of that, we're especially acceptable to sea level rise. Our food sources are become endangered because of climate change.
To declare open.
Loazo, a PhD student from Colorado, came to COP27 to study environmental global governance. Here she found
the process is difficult and takes a long time, and there's a lot of disagreement, and so it can be very disheartening.
Our patient is dying!
Surveys show that climate is top of mind these days for young people, and they were well represented in Egypt. But Loazo says access to many of the sessions was sometimes difficult.
Not having enough chairs in the room for observers, not allowing observers to sit on the floor, that was a security requirement for us.
For Thompson, COP27 was a bit of a blur.
It's really crazy here. It's hard to, even like people you're in the same room with, it's hard to get meetings with them because they're so busy.
For the first time, this COP meeting featured a youth and children pavilion, but actual decision-making on climate issues that was largely out of this group's hands.
Because, for example, we have all this networking that's done with youth and indigenous people in the pavilions, but when it comes to the negotiating table, we're still not there and represented.
It's frustrating to not be able to have more of an impact directly in those negotiation spaces.
For those more on the outside, she says that impact is delivered in other ways.
There have been a number of demonstrations, that are filmed and live streamed. And also what you bring back to your community and what you put out in the world from what you observed there afterwards.
Her expectations were modest going into the talks, but she found foot dragging by some countries on climate matters disappointing. Speaking at COP27, the UN Secretary General said youth climate anxiety is real.
I see many young people in different parts of the world depressed with the climate situation. Tell your communities, tell your groups, but don't give up, don't feel depressed, don't think that the world is lost.
Thompson believes progress on climate is being made.
I do get frustrated, but there's been a lot of good parts, and now I have a better understanding of what needs to change.
Elect more climate-aware politicians, she says. As she prepares to head home, she thinks the carbon emitted to get her to COP27 was worth it. Hendrik Sabrandi, CGTN, Denver.